Hi everybody, this is Davina from Teacher Success Coach. I hope that you guys are very well. Right, as you all know, I've started a different school in January and it's been going really well. As much as there's a lot of deprivation in terms of how the school is, etc., there's a lot of positive in the school and they're doing quite a lot of positive things in the school, and it's just, those are quite fantastic. Anyway, what's my win? Whoa. On Thursday is one of my most tiring day. I have full-on lesson. Get into the classroom at 9:30 and I'm teaching every period. I have 6 periods and I'm teaching every period. I've got double for year 10, double for year 13, double for year 12. It's just really tiring on a Thursday. I don't even have any time. And, in between lunch, I'm trying to, mark a few books which I've inherited when I started. And I'm still marking these exams. I'm hoping that I'll finish marking them. So that's one of the things, I'm looking at. Another thing is, what's my win? Whoa. I taught year 10 today. Year 10 is a very tiring group because they're disruptive, they're chatting, the list goes on. But today they were pretty good. I threatened a few detention, but it's like, Miss, are you gonna still have me in detention? Are you gonna phone home? Because I realized I could start phoning home to tell the parents how the children are behaving. So I did say to them, I'm going to be phoning parents in the next few days because I need to connect with the parents, because the parents need to know, who is teaching the child. Because I know I would like to know who is teaching my children. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be calling the parents so that the parents are familiar with me and they are aware of who I am, etc., so that we start having a relationship to support the child. So that's one of the things I say to my students I'm going to be doing. But a lot of them seem to be very frightened of me phoning home. And I said to them, I don't believe in phoning home without negatives. I think it's also important that when we phone children's home, young people home, we actually give the positive as well as what they need to develop, what they need to be developing in. And most of them, the chattering is just too much. They just need to know, when you get to the classroom, there's no unnecessary chatter. Today, I've sent 4 students out of my lesson because they were constantly chatting and laughing, and I had enough. I said, stay outside. And one of the beautiful things in the school is when children are actually sent out, there is the corridor monitors. So they pick them up because there's always someone on the corridor and they want to know, why you're doing outside. And as usual, children always say, the young people always say, they don't know why they're outside. Really? Yes, you do know why I send you outside, because I'm not going mad. So you know why I send you outside. Eventually, say, oh yes, because I was talking excessively and, that wasn't nice, etc. So when I went outside and I was talking to them, I said, one of the things is, not only are you disrespecting me, you're disrespecting yourself, because what you're saying is you're not valuing yourself enough to be taught. So that's disrespecting yourself. And thirdly, you are disrespecting your peers. And that is not very positive. So when you finish, laughing and get yourself sorted, and you've been, the corridor monitor have spoken to you, yes, you could come in, but you need to actually reflect on the behavior you just demonstrated. And when you come in, it's like that the students know they have to apologize to the teacher for disrespecting and disrupting. But you also have to apologize to your peers as well. Oh, but miss nothing. Because what you've just done is you've disrespected them, you disrupted my lesson, and that's not on. One of the things that the students are uncomfortable with is apologizing to their peers. The reason why I tell them they have to apologize to their peers, you have disrupted your peers' learning time. So you owe it to them to apologize for the disruption. right? And it's interesting because it's like they stand in front of the class. I'm saying, I'm waiting because we haven't got time. You got 1 minute to get that sorted, or you go back outside and you stay outside. Because we need to realize that we're serious when we come into classrooms. They apologize. And after that, I must say, it have made a difference. I'm not too sure if the fact that they have to apologize in front of the peers that they feel a way about it, but the behavior was greatly reduced because there's 4 students that's constantly giggling. It's like the childish behavior, the unnecessary giggling, which really does disrupt the lesson, right? So that actually, it seems to have subsided a bit today. And as I also say to them, anytime I have to stop to say to anybody, please be quiet, it means I am taking back my time at lunchtime. So at lunchtime, we are all going to be going into the hall. So you're going to be doing the work you should have done in my lesson. So that's some of the things I'm using in terms of classroom management. And this, because it was a morning lesson, it seems to actually work for a while. And another thing is, we also know that the student's attention span is a TikTok attention span. So we need to really chunk up the lesson. And I realized that one time my lesson was over 20 minutes and they were fidgeting, etc. So I just had to stop, you know, and just get them a little, you know, like a little bit of breather, and then we come back on. Because the attention span is so small, so short, that we need to be aware of that and teach around that. So that's, you know, those were my wins today in terms of my classroom management strategy. The apologizing in front of the class because you've disrupted the class, and the 3 factors that you're disrespecting yourself when you're actually continuously disrupting the lesson, because what you're saying is you are not worthy enough to be taught and you don't appreciate yourself enough. And another factor is you are disrespecting the teacher in the class and you're disrespecting your peers. So you have to do 2 sets of apologies to the teacher and to your peers in the class. And a lot of students don't like the idea of, you know, having to apologize in front of their peers. Well, you disrupt, so therefore you have to be apologizing. You know, so that's my win. Another thing I've actually was saying to my year 12 and 13 groups today, well, they're going, especially year 13, they're going to university at the end of this year. So in terms of the lack of independence is an issue for me. They are so dependent on the teacher that the teacher have to tell them what to write and when to write in terms of making notes. And that's something I'm not used to when it comes to year 13. And I've been reminded that, oh, you know, the students have not written anything because you haven't told them what to write. What do you mean? I haven't told them what to write. They are 17-year-olds who will be going to university in September, October. The lecturers are not going to tell them what to write. The lecturer is going to go in and lecture to them, lecture at them actually. And they have to decide, oh, this is an important point enough for me to make notes. So that's something, you know, I've noticed in most of the schools I've taught in. I am being told that you have to tell the students what to write and when to write. I have a real issue with that. The reason why I have an issue with that, because these students are going to university at the end of the year, plus we are meant to empower them to be independent learners and critical thinkers. If we're doing all of those things for them, we actually not even empowering them to be critical thinkers. We're actually thinking for them by saying, okay, you need to write this and you need to write that, etc. It's like I was in one of the schools I was in sometime last year. The head of the department was saying to me, one of her criticism of me when she actually came and observed my lesson was, I did not tell the students what to write or when to write. And I find it so, one, I find it frustrating. Another thing, I find it disempowering. And another factor is I find that we are not empowering the student, nor are we encouraging them to be independent learners. Because if I've got to tell you what to write and when to write, and you are year 12, 11, 12, and 13, which means you're doing your GCSEs or your A levels, that's quite worrying. I shouldn't have to be telling you that, because you should know what is valuably enough for you to take notes. I understand that if I'm doing it in terms of year 7, 8, and 9, not even year 10. You see, that's the challenge we have when we are not empowering these young people to be independent learners and critical thinkers. We are making them depend on us to tell them how to think and when to think. And it's a real issue. That's something I'm really having challenges with. Because I used to do that when I was teaching year 7, 8, or 9. I'm now teaching year 10, 11, 12, and 13. And the fact that I have to be telling them what to write and when to write is quite concerning, especially for year 12 and 13, when the next step would be university, apprenticeship, or in the world of work. So me having to think for them. And that is a criticism I've had in a lot of schools I've taught in, especially the schools that are programming the children, the young people. Some of the independent schools and some of the much more selected schools, that tend to be less. But the other schools, I just find it frustrating internally, because I am telling students when to think, and I'm not about that. As a coach and a mentor, my role is to empower these young people so that they become independent thinkers and learners and critical thinkers, so they know what and when to make the decision of writing down something they feel is valuable and making notes and asking questions on that. So that's something I've been battling with, in terms of, oh, you need to tell the students, what to write. One of the criticism I had this week was, everything was good, she loved the way I taught the students, etc. But one of the criticism was, some of the students didn't have notes. So what? They don't always have to have notes. We are of this impression is, when they have notes, it means that they're taking in the information. No, it's not. They're just programming, writing the information, but there's nothing in the head. So that's always been my argument. Because there's no point in getting them to write notes and they don't even understand what they're writing notes. They just become program robots, just writing notes. And one of the criticism was, oh, the students had no notes. And my, argument was, well, the students need to decide whether or not they want to make notes, one. And secondly, they may not want to make notes because they've understood what I've said. And they also have the PowerPoint to go back on. One of the arguments that's been used is, oh, when they have notes, they could use it for revision. Really? The notes they've taken, a lot of the time, is what they've copied from the board, and they don't understand it, because students are saying to me, oh, yes, miss, I've taken down the notes because this teacher wants me to take down the notes, but I don't understand it. That doesn't make no sense. My role is to make sure you understand what I'm explaining to you, and therefore when you are making your notes, you're summarizing what you've understood, not you making notes for the sake of making notes. And that's one of the things that a lot of the schools are programming these children, these young people, to pass the tests. And guess what? When they pass the test, the school have actually got the grades, and they forget about the children, because they only want them for the grades. So when the grades have been achieved, that's it. It doesn't matter how much they struggle when they get to university, or they don't know what to do next, because they've always been programmed to be told when to write and how to write. I'm not about that. As I keep on saying to my students, repeat as a mantra, that you all are going to university. But even though you're not going to university, world of work or apprenticeship, you need to know when to take notes. You need to know how to take notes. I've been in school and I say to students, summarize. Students are telling me they don't know how to summarize. That is quite sad, because these were year 12 students who, less than 1 year, they'll be going on to further education, higher education, or employment, and they don't know how to summarize. So I had to actually teach the students how to summarize. Initially, I thought they were just messing around when they said they don't know how to summarize, but I realized they don't know how to summarize. So we're actually doing these young people an injustice, a disservice. And we are only interested in, when I talk about we, I'm talking the education establishment, only interested in the results passing the test, but we're not equipping them for after the test is done, what happened next. So educators out there, I know that sometimes, it could be challenging, and parents, it could be challenging, where you are saying to your child, I want you to summarize, I want you to, make notes on what you understand, etc. Because the school is just trying to program them. But as parents, carers, and other educators, we cannot support that. Because when they leave the school, they're on their own. How are they surviving by themselves? We need to equip them to survive. And that is something I'm constantly fighting against. We need to equip them to be critical thinkers and to survive in terms of know when to make notes and how to make notes and be independent learners. That's one of the challenges I'm really having in most of the schools I've gone to. There are a few, maybe about 5 of them that I've gone to that has been okay in terms of I just explain things to students and they summarize. Other schools are saying to me that you need to tell them exactly what to write. In one of the schools I taught in last year, the head of the department is saying to me, this is how I teach. I said to the student, write this. It's like she showed me, she actually went up on the board and saying to me, when I want the student to write, I actually go and point and say to them, can you write this down? That's an issue. That's an issue. If the student don't want to write that down because they understand it, we're actually forcing them to do that. That's what I call program. We are really programming them for the capitalist society and equipping them to be robots, not independent thinkers. So parents out there, educators out there, even young people yourself, you need to start being you need to be critical thinkers, and you need to actually question things. It's just so sad when I see that. Anyway, guys. Oh, there's something else I've actually noticed as well in terms of some of the teachers. They're teaching very much in a teacher-centered way. What I've just explained is very much teacher-centered, which means that it's nothing to do with the students. The teacher say write and you write. The teacher say underline, you underline. The teacher saying to me that, oh, you need to make sure this is teaching year 10, 11, 12, and 13. You need to tell them to write the date, underline the date, to write the heading, underline the heading. That reminds me when I started teaching primary school. This is what I used to say to the primary school children. And now I'm in secondary school and some schools are telling me this is what I need to be doing for these young people. That's not empowering them. That's still actually disempowering them, reminding them of being back in primary school. Quite sad. And this is very much teacher-centered, not allowing these young people to be independent. Still want them to constantly be dependent on us, and then we start complaining, oh, they don't know what to do, they're so dependent, because we are doing that to them. We are programming them and making them become dependent on us. Is it because we feel that they should always be needing us? Think about that. Anyway, guys, take care, stay blessed, have a fantastic evening, night, morning where you are, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Oh, I've got 2 shows this weekend. I've got home educating show tomorrow, whereby home educators will be talking about the journey in home educating or homeschooling the children and what are some of the challenges that they've been experiencing, etc. And one of the questions I ask all the time, do we think that traditional education is far more powerful than home educating or homeschooling? Something to really think about. And on Saturday, I'm looking at female educators around the world sharing the journey of during COVID, before COVID, during COVID, after COVID, what it is like being back in the classroom, teaching in the physical classroom. Anyway, guys, take care, stay blessed, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.